Welcome back, everyone, to episode 30 of Couples Coverage. I'm your host, Nicholas Moriano. As usual, I'm joined by my beautiful and amazing co-host, Stephanie Bonce, and we have a special guest on today's podcast.
We have a third member of Couples Coverage, right, Maple? I wish we had her mic'd up.
little ASMR.
So we can get her like yawns or her like, I don't know.
But yes,
she makes.
We have Mabel here, who is family dog. Your family dog.
Yes. So Mabel is our little family dog, and we are babysitting / dog sitting for my brother, who is on his honeymoon, and Jam, his wife.
His wife.
That is so crazy.
It is.
Even say still. I feel like it's gonna take me a while to say like his wife, even though she's Jam. Like she's just Jam to me.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of stuff that we did over this past weekend, and we're recording here on Sunday because there's just so much that we needed to get into the podcast right away. So we're gonna get into the wedding, and a bunch of other things. But before we actually kind of dive into the episode, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel Couples Coverage. Also, if you're just someone who listens to the podcast, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, really anywhere you listen to your podcast, and on YouTube too. We're like so close now. We can almost visualize and see the 100 subscribers. So make sure you subscribe to the podcast, like this video, comment, and share with a friend, and then also follow us on our socials on Instagram and TikTok. But we got those out of the way. Let's get into it because we have so much to talk about.
Go give this video a thumbs up for Mabel.
There you go. Who doesn't love dogs?
Because she's so cute. And we mentioned she might be sitting next to us for this episode, and she is.
She's so calm.
She's so content.
So much different than Brady when it comes to this kind of stuff. Brady would never sit here this long. He'd go underneath the Couples Coverage couch or just go do his own thing.
Yeah.
Mabel is she's a little shadow.
She is a little shadow, and I noticed that she likes sitting in between us, even when we're just like, hanging out or on the couch or whatever. So I knew she'd be fine. But yeah, so she'll be on here for the whole episode. But yeah, we got to get started because there's so much that has happened in the past 4 days.
4 days, yeah.
And I was telling you, it feels like this is like the longest weekend ever. I genuinely I wish every weekend felt this long because it's felt like I've been on a vacation, even though I've only been off since Friday, so not very long.
Yeah, but everything started on Thursday though. Thursday night, we were telling you on the last episode of Couples Coverage 29 that we were going to go to Indiana and watch Caitlin Clark play in her home debut, and so we're back. We went to Indianapolis, saw the Fever play, saw Caitlin Clark play, and look, they did not win the Fever. Caitlin Clark did not have her best game, but honestly, that was a really cool experience just to be in that environment. It was her home opener for her professional team, and you could feel the energy in the arena that night.
Yeah, you could. For me, I think the thing that like hit me the most, like right off the bat, was how many people actually showed up for this game. Mm-hmm. Because just from hearing you talk about it, I know you said that, like women's basketball is kind of like starting to pick up now. Right? Is that right
for sure.
So just seeing like the whole arena, stadium, I always get confused.
The arena,
just filled up was really cool. Like that alone.
Yeah, no, it definitely was, and shout out to Joe, who actually hooked us up with the tickets, and it was like all you can eat, all you can drink, and they're great seats where we had great vantage point for the whole entire basketball game. It was kind of a slight letdown because the team that Caitlin Clark plays for, they got the number 1 overall pick for a reason. They're obviously a team that needs to get better. And so the game wasn't all that close, but there was a spurt in the game where like Caitlin hit a 3.
She made her free throws.
She made her free throws, and then like there's a sequence of plays where you felt like the energy rise, and you like turned over to me. I don't even, what'd you say?
Hitting your arm. I was like, this is so cool.
Yeah, and you felt it. So I'm excited for them. Mm-hmm. Hopefully when the team starts to gain hopefully some more chemistry and gets better, and maybe it'll take a season, but that crowd's going to love her. That crowd's going to get behind that team.
Yeah.
And it's going to be really cool to watch.
It was really cool. And I think just because we had been keeping up with all the games and stuff, it was just cool to see her and see the coaches. I wasn't expecting the coaches to be there, but seeing them there too, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm kind of like fangirling a little bit over like her and the coaches there. And I know you saw some other people, right, that were there.
Yeah, so the coaches that you're referring to are her former Iowa coaches, so they were there in attendance. And then one of the Indiana Pacers players was like sitting not courtside but 2 rows behind the home bench. So yeah, and also we saw a big, I guess, NFL personality, Pat McAfee, was also there. So it was a big deal. There were people at that game, and we can say we were there, even though, look, it didn't end the way that the Indiana Fever wanted, how probably Caitlin Clark wanted. Like, she's gonna remember that night for the rest of her life. Her first game in her home arena. Like, that's a big deal, and we got a chance to go see it.
Yeah, and we made a long drive to get there because it was like a 3-hour drive there and back, and we were starting to feel it.
Yeah, it was, well, I think we did a total of around 8 hours in the car that day because we had to drive from our apartment to the CHGO studio in the city of Chicago. Then right after I got done recording a podcast, we went on the road and went to Indianapolis. Oh, wait. What? Before the game, you had the famous shrimp cocktail.
Oh, yeah. Wait, I completely forgot about that. Okay, so Nick's been talking about this shrimp cocktail that he gets from this place called St. Elmo's, right?
Yes.
But we went to
Harry and Izzy's is like their sister restaurant, and they're literally right next door to each other, but the same shrimp cocktail.
Okay, so I guess this is kind of like
it's world famous.
Oh, world famous.
Mm-hmm.
But most restaurants say like world famous, blah blah blah, or like the best coffee in town. But anyways, I have heard everyone that like has gone to Indiana say that you need to try this shrimp cocktail. Like, I know Will said it. You guys go. Yeah. I know they were passing it around, right, during like the combine.
Yeah, so you
people
can try
it.
Yep.
Okay, but it's because this thing is so intense, and the way I was picturing it was kind of like when you take a big chunk of wasabi, if you guys like sushi, and it kind of like goes to your nose into like your brain almost, and it hurts, and you kind of have to like breathe it out. But this shrimp cocktail, I remember I took like a baby bite at first because I was scared. Was probably like more intense than I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah, but
painful.
It does hurt. Like, not gonna lie. Like, I've had it a bunch of times now, but for whatever reason, I was a little intimidated to, like, I saw it there. I'm like, oh man, and they're 4 large shrimps. That's all you get. 4 large shrimps.
And that's what I was like, 4 large shrimps, because I'm used to my mom's like Mexican shrimp cocktail where it's like full of shrimp.
The
I'm
tiny
like,
ones, yeah,
4
smaller shrimps. But yeah, it was a little intimidating. But once you take one bite and really get your breath taken away, you can't. It's like you're taking it and then eventually like disappears. I don't know. I just kind of want to keep on having shrimp, and then they give you little crackers on the side, and then you can also eat the horseradish. It's the cocktail sauce, which I think it's the horseradish that does that effect, if I'm not mistaken.
I mean, I've never had horseradish that does that to me. I don't know what else it has in there. Maybe some ginger or something. I don't know, but it does have that similar effect that wasabi has. It's just a lot more intense, and it's every single bite, because sometimes when I have wasabi, it's like the first big chunk will get me, but then I won't get that same feeling anymore.
Yeah.
But for this one, it's like every single bite that you took, it went straight to like your nose, your head. It makes your eyes water.
Yeah.
It's hard to breathe. And you're like, oh my gosh, how long is this going to last? But the thing is that it actually tastes good. So it's such a weird, like, it like contradicts itself because it hurts and it's painful, but it's also good. And
you want more, which is it's so weird. And like the 4 large shrimp is probably the perfect portion size because I don't know, maybe people would overdo it. And like the waitress or like the person who like dropped off the shrimp was like, have you had it before? Like, just in case, like, you know, you have to kind of, it's almost like a warning label. Yeah. You know, what you're kind of getting into.
Yeah, because when you told her that you had tried it before, she's like, okay, enjoy the burn.
Yeah,
and
enjoy the burn. Yeah. So, that's how our kind of mid-afternoon started in Indy. We had to stop by there, and it's literally a 3-minute walk to the arena from the restaurant we were at to get our shrimp cocktail. So it started there, went to the game, had a good time at the game, and then drove back three hours. So
yeah, and like you've done road trips, the way there is always so fun and exciting, and then the way back just sucks.
Oh my goodness, yeah, the way back.
And 3 hours is not that bad.
No, it's not, but it's just like it was after a long day. Like I think, if I'm not mistaken, I had worked out that morning. Did I drop off Brady too? I don't even remember.
You did.
So it was a really early. I think I woke up around like 5. So it was like it was just a long day, but it was well worth it. Like I had never seen Caitlin Clark play at Iowa, so we got to see her in person, and it was a really cool experience. And it was spontaneous too. We got the tickets the day before, and then
we made it happen. Yeah, it was fun. I don't regret it. I'm just saying, like, dang, people who do these road trips or who love road trips, that's like a different breed, because I'm like, the longest we've done is like 4 hours when we were going to like Door County, and I was like, oh my gosh, just put me on a plane. I don't like this.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think if you're doing like a road trip, like in an RV or something, like, if you had that, and you had friends, fun. That would be really cool. And, people would take shifts driving and, take turns, and that could be like a really cool experience.
Also, like on the way to Iowa, there's nothing but windmills and like fields of nothing. So
yeah, like remember on the way back, we saw all those like flashing red lights, like just out in like the horizon. I don't know. It was weird. Like what weird? Yeah. What are? Who knows? Who knows? But it is a very boring drive. Yeah. I think we were also saying, like, imagine if like we were driving through, I don't know, Colorado, for example, or something like that, where you'd see all these mountains and everything.
Like, at least it's scenic and you're seeing like a nice view. Like, there's literally nothing but
cornfields.
But it's all right. Anyways, so that was Thursday. And then Friday was my brother's wedding. Omar and Jam. I don't know if they listen to this, but congrats to my brother and my new sister-in-law, official sister-in-law, because I know I've always like, it's always Sister Jam, and like this is just
and Brother Omar.
I don't know why we say that, but I feel like it just stuck. So now she's officially Sister Jam, and it's crazy.
Yeah.
And as I said, like, they were dating for 10 years, so this day, like, I knew it would happen eventually, but actually going through it, it almost felt like it wasn't real. Like, I can't believe this day that we were all like looking forward to for so long is finally here, and it's happening. And I was just trying to like remember like as much as I could.
Yeah, and maybe it was a little tough to remember or keep that right frame of mind, because we had a little. Were there complications? Was it a situation?
We had a situation, and we have a good story. Now it's funny, and as soon as it happened, we're like, can't wait to share this on the podcast.
I know, as soon as it happened, yeah. Before we kind of get to that, and leave a little cliffhanger, you have to stay tuned and listen to what the story is. Just have to tell everybody about Owen. As you guys know, Owen is a good partner with us here at Couples Coverage, and Owen stands for Only What You Need. I have here in my hand the Elite Owen Protein Shake, 32 grams of protein, no net carbs, plant-based, tastes delicious, and if you're looking for something that's an alternative to whey protein or soy, you can go plant-based and try Owen's products, and they have so many different amazing flavors. The one I have right here is a no-nut buttercup in the Elite. It's delicious. Or if you want to go maybe get a little bit of caffeine but also get your protein intake, you can do the double shot. This is the caramel macchiato. Tastes delicious, and they have powders and meal supplements and really anything that you're looking for. They probably have it at liveowen.com. You just got to go on their website and check out all the different flavors and all the different products they have there. And while you're on there, you stock up your cart. And then if you use the promo code COUPLEGOALS, you'll save 15% off your first purchase. So a little bit of that will come back to us when you use that promo code. So you're winning, we're winning, Owen's winning. Everybody wins when you use the Couple Goals promo code. So go check it out, Owen and liveowen.com.
Thanks, Owen.
All right, back to story time.
Back to the story.
How do we set this?
All right, let's set the tone. So, we had booked a hotel a while ago. Because where my brother was getting married was an hour away. We thought maybe a little bit further too with traffic and stuff. So
yeah, about an hour.
We also knew it was going to end late and there was going to be like an open bar. So we're like, why don't we just have fun, enjoy the night, and we can just get a hotel and stay the night over there. And so because they were going to need us to dog sit and because they were going to go on their honeymoon straight away, I think they were going to have like maybe Saturday to like get some things together, and then they were going to go on their honeymoon. So we were going to dog sit and just take Mabel from like wedding day and then just bring her back with us when we returned. So it's a little bit confusing, but again, they had already drove to the wedding since Thursday night to do rehearsals and all that stuff. And so my parents had Mabel. Is this kind of hard to picture?
No, yeah, I mean, that all makes sense. But we had booked, okay, maybe, and we're talking about this on the fly. I booked the reservation not knowing that Mabel was going to stay with us, right? Like, I don't know, did we, like, settle on, like, Mabel's going to stay with us?
I think not until, like, later. We're like, oh, perfect, that works.
So I think that's important to know.
Yeah.
But the place that we had booked was pet friendly.
Yeah.
So we had booked this not knowing that Mabel would be staying with us, but it was perfectly fine because it was, again, pet friendly.
Yeah.
But I just want to put that in, but you can continue, babe.
Okay. So the plan was my parents were going to meet us down there, bring Mabel with them, and they were going to change in our hotel, and then we were going to change there, and then we were all going to head to the wedding together. So that's kind of, if the beginning was confusing, that's kind of the important part.
Yeah.
So they bring Mabel over, they have all her stuff, and we're getting all ready.
Everyone gets changed.
It probably took us like 30 minutes to all just get like dressed and set and like
ready to go.
Yeah, start heading over to the venue, which was only like a 15-minute drive to where like the wedding ceremony reception was going to be. So we leave Mabel there, and Mabel, as you can see, is like a very relaxed dog. Like she's sleep.
Literally napping right
Which,
now.
by the way, I know people always tell us that she looks like a puppy, but she's literally like 10 plus years old at this point. So she's kind of a grandma, but she's really calm, and she'll sleep she'll sleep most of the day. And so my brother kind of just told us like it should be no issue. She should like sleep most of the time. And I think technically she's kind of used to she has been used to like staying at home by herself for a while.
On her own, yeah.
Yeah, because there's some dogs that like, oh, you got to get back to them because either they have to.
Especially if they're puppies or whatever.
Yeah, when they're puppies. But she's pretty good by herself for a while. So that's kind of where we leave it at. She stays there. We get her settled, and we all head to the wedding. And we're enjoying it. Like, we're starting to see it all, like, for the first time.
Yeah.
The reception room and, like, the venue itself was just nice. And we were kind of like, oh, it's such a nice day. We're so, like, excited to get started. And then, like, people start to take their seats and stuff, right?
Yeah, getting ready for the ceremony.
Ready for the ceremony. And right before, like, the ceremony started, I think this was probably, like, 5:10, and the ceremony was set to start at like 5:15.
Yep.
And you looked at your phone and you're like, why do I have 3 missed calls?
Yeah.
And I was like, 3 missed calls, it's probably the hotel. And you're like, no, why would the hotel be calling me? And I was like, but it looks like it's a Rockford number, you should call it back. And just to, like, for peace of mind, I'm like, just call him back.
Yeah. And so I knew I had a little bit of time, so I called him back, was whispering when I answered him, like, hi, I saw 3 missed calls, and it's, I guess, would be the manager of the hotel stating, and he wasn't happy, definitely wasn't happy. He's like, you need to come back immediately. you left your dog unattended, which is a absolute no. It's in the fine print.
Fine print, like who reads a
the
freaking
dog,
fine
your
print?
dog. I don't know if they're vicious or not, but they've been making noises and it's driving away customers. Already, made one customer want to leave, and you need to come back. And if you don't do it, like we'll call animal control. I'm like, whoa, okay. Like I did not see any of that. I saw it was pet friendly. Did not know anything about that.
Yeah.
I told him like, hey, I'm at a wedding. It's about to kind of get started. I'll be back as soon as I can, essentially. And then I tell you, and I'm like, and then, this is like 5 minutes before, like, your brother's about to walk down the aisle. Everybody's going to walk down the aisle.
I start to freak out as soon as I heard, like, calling animal control. I was like, what?
For little Mabel? Like,
for Mabel?
What kind of dog is Mabel again? She's
like a multi-poo, I don't know, mix of some stuff.
She's a sweetheart. That's what she is.
And if anything, but listen, when they called, it hadn't even been an hour. So if she was like crying or whining, it was because she was probably like in a new area. She hadn't seen us in a while, so I think she was just kind of like, where did you guys go, like all of a sudden seeing us, and then we're gone, and then she's in a new place, so she might have been crying, but like I 100% think she would have like settled and it would have been fine. But we weren't doing it on purpose. We really didn't know. When we saw pet friendly, we just assumed perfect, we can leave her there. And to me, it kind of like pisses me off, honestly, because why would you have a hotel that's like pet friendly and then you can't leave them unattended like at all? Then what's the point? Like, it's not like it's not like this hotel has any sort of like amenities. Because I remember afterwards I went in there and I started reading. It's like, have the most fun and like pets like so welcome. And I'm like, you make it sound like this is going to be a great experience and this has been horrible. Like, at least give us a warning.
Yeah, and like I remember calling them too. Like, do you guys take pets? And like, yes.
Yeah.
And
now, once did they say, right?
No, like nothing was mentioned about that. And like I did book through a third party. I didn't see like. I guess it does say somewhere. It does say on there like you can't leave them unattended. But going back to what I said earlier, we didn't know we were gonna get Mabel or have a dog in the hotel when we booked it. So I didn't go back and look. I just looked. First thing I see, pet friendly.
Yeah.
So it's like I didn't even think of going back to look, well, what are the restrictions? I'm like, if it's pet friendly, it should be fine.
Which, by the way, a big part too, not only do we have to go back, they kicked us out, said go figure it out somewhere else now, and you get no refund. Yeah,
and then obviously with a hotel, you have to put a deposit down. Didn't get that back. So.
Oh my God. Actually, the more I talk about it again, it actually does piss me off because it's like, okay, at least let us know. It's not like we had left her for even that long yet. It had been less than an hour. So for you to call us and like right away be that like unwelcoming and like that like unforgiving of a situation because again, we didn't know. And yes, it's in the fine print, but how many people actually read the fine print? How about you put it like in bold at the top?
And to just add on to it, I left a very nice pair of shorts there that I put in the drawer. Your sandals still at that hotel room. And I was like, I will get those back. Like, I'm not going to forget them there. So it's just a bunch of stuff happening, but we had to figure that all out. And I went, so while after... the ceremony had ended, everyone says I do. I'm like, I got to go, take care of this. I don't want anything to happen to Mabel. And then, so I was planning on going to take Mabel, drive all the way an hour back to our apartment, drop her off, then drive all the way back. And then you had told your sisters about it, right?
Yeah, I was like, because you left to figure it out and my sisters were in the wedding party and now we're going through this like stressful situation and you kind of were like, no, don't mention it to anyone. We're going to figure this out, right? Like you don't want to stress people and especially not who are like in the wedding. And so you like went, or right before you left, I was like, I'm going to tell them because I'm like, I don't know what to do. And I also didn't want you to have to drive back an hour. I don't know.
It would have been a 2-hour process, for me.
It just would have taken so long. So, luckily I did tell them because they were like, oh, well, you can just drop her off at the Airbnb that they're staying at, because unlike us, like they had like a Airbnb that I don't know if it allowed dogs, and they already had another dog there, so that's why we were taking Mabel, because they just weren't sure, like if they weren't allowed to, two dogs might have been a bit pushing it. Yeah. But I was like, at this point, it's like we got to do what we got to do, and we can figure it out. But like, we just need to make sure she's out of there before they call animal control or anything. But it turned out working out.
It worked. It wasn't that bad, because once I picked her up, it was a 6-minute drive to the Airbnb, drop her off. I'm already kind of sweating a little bit, trying to get all the stuff and clothes, and clearly I left things there, still at the hotel, but drop her off, and then from the Airbnb to the where the wedding was being held at, it was a 5-minute drive, so I was back just in time for dinner.
Yeah, you were literally back right before the whole like reception started, so I'm glad it worked out, and I was so thankful that you figured it out. And I was just stressed out too, because then at some point you weren't answering my calls, and I started getting nervous, and it was just a lot. So
yeah, it was a stressful, like 30, for me it was like 30 minutes. I knew I was going to get her there and like, take care of things, but we figured it out. We didn't let it like ruin the night or anything, because it was a very important night, but that's how it started. And then it was funny because later we told your brother
at the end of the night,
Jam,
we're like, guess what happened?
Yeah, we got kicked out of our hotel, and animal control was almost called on Mabel, but
we prefaced that like we weren't even mad about it.
We
were not mad about it. It was more just like, we got to make sure she's fine. And we're gonna call. I'm gonna be a little Karen on Monday when the manager's back. Like, what can we figure out, because this is so messed up.
Yeah.
And the fact that it did happen like right before the ceremony started, it was hard to like, you just push it aside, because we couldn't do anything right at that moment, So
yeah, but after we hung up and like, the ceremony, like everything's kind of happening, like I was in the moment. I felt like just like kind of listening to your brother say his vows, like it was really touching. And then obviously Jam as well, like there were some tears being shed. It was a really, again, picture perfect kind of day too. And like the Japanese gardens in Rockford, like a really beautiful place as well. So even though that had happened, and I knew I was gonna figure it out, like that, it was a really cool moment, like to have for them. So
yeah, it took me a little bit. Like, I wish I would have been more like in the moment, but having like a little bit of time to like calm down, and like my brother walked down and Jam walked down, I think then I was like, okay, it's fine, it's gonna be fine. And then I was able to like fully get into it, and
like
it was so nice.
Your dad was sitting in front of us. I saw he got emotional too. Yeah, I think you put your hand on his shoulder at one point. Yeah, so it was good. It was a fun time. What's a dance that we that we
he always says un de caballo dorado?
Yeah. Do you want to explain that real quick? How would you explain?
It's probably like, actually, I don't know how to explain it. It's not like line dancing, is it?
No. Okay, now I don't know what the English version of like what that's called.
There, basically, it's just like a few steps in like every direction, and then it just gets faster and faster and faster.
Yeah.
And keep up. Mabel, my Mabel, you look what you caused. She's so cute. We can't even like be mad at her.
No, of course. She's been awesome. So we've had her since that Friday night, and we were recording on Sunday, but she's been awesome. She's been a really good little guest here.
Yeah.
And she's taking all of Brady's toys. And
aren't you gonna miss her when we don't have her?
Of course, yeah. So
she loves you.
I know.
She loves you.
She does. Because I saved you. I saved you from animal control and mean hotel managers that don't know how to manage. But yeah, it was a fun night. We had some drinks, had good food. It was a good wedding.
Yeah, no, it was
fun wedding.
It was so nice, and I'm still like, there's little things that I like. Oh, now I'm remembering more and more from the night, because it did go, it flew by.
It did, honestly. I mean, I know I left a little bit, but even when I got back, like, it does fly by when you're kind of just, you have speeches, and then you have dinner, speeches, dances, pictures, dessert, all these different things kind of go on. It does fly by.
Okay, can we talk about the dessert table for a second? Because I just loved all the different like Hispanic desserts that they had. And like at the moment I was so full, but now thinking back I was like, oh, I wish I would have gotten like one of everything because everything looks so good, but I was so full in the moment that I only tried like a few of them.
It's funny how dessert can do that to you.
Oh,
like, most times we say no to dessert.
Yeah.
But if you maybe put it out in front of us, and even if you're like super full, it's like, man, I could probably have a few bites of that.
Yeah.
And a few bites turns into finishing the whole entire dessert.
Yeah.
So it like all the dessert was just out and you can grab as you please.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish I would have grabbed one of everything.
I wish I would have brought some stuff back.
Well, hopefully your brother and Jam saved us
cake.
some of the wedding cake.
Oh, yeah.
Their wedding cake. Yeah, that would be a nice little plus, just to have, because we did have a good amount of dessert when we were there, but there's just a lot to be had.
Yeah, the food was great. The drinks were great. The speeches were so like touching. Mm-hmm. That's one of my favorite parts when it comes to wedding, but it was also like an added thing because like I know Jam and Omar, so hearing people talk about them, that was like an added like level of like, this is so sweet. And their friends have been around for a long time, so just hearing it and like knowing that what they're saying, like they truly mean it because they have been in their lives for such a long time, I'm like, that is just so special.
Yeah, it's always cool to hear other people and what they think of you, and like how maybe you don't even realize how much you've impacted them. So I can only hope when our day comes, like, and people are talking about us, that's what you want to strive to, have, like, that kind of impact on people.
Yeah.
More than like, we all have individual goals, but I think the first thing that everyone should want to be is a good person.
Yeah.
And see how you've maybe impacted the people that are around you. And you can definitely tell just from the speeches that were had that night, like how much, Omar and Jam, how much they were loved by their friends, and obviously they love to give to them. So that was really cool. It's really touching. That's always part I look forward to in weddings, just to hear like those speeches, because it comes from a deep place from the people who are obviously giving them.
And I know I've always heard like mixed feelings about speeches. Like some people get awkward when people are talking about you, and it's a little bit uncomfortable, but I think, I don't know. Again, it's hard not to like embrace it when it's so genuine from someone.
Yeah, exactly. So,
and obviously when they're super close to them too. So, I don't know. I just thought it was so nice, and it was like the perfect amount too. Like they didn't like go on forever.
Yeah,
it was like the perfect amount, and like touching, emotional, and funny, and it was just perfect.
Yeah, it was really well done. Really well done. But that was the wedding. That was
the wedding.
Friday. So we have Thursday, Friday.
We drove back that night.
Yeah, and we were fine. Like we knew we could have, if we wanted to, stayed at the Airbnb that everybody else was at, but we figured like, it's just an hour drive. We already did a 3.5 hour drive literally a day before. We can do an hour, so that wasn't too bad driving back. And then Saturday was pretty chill for the most part.
Yeah.
We did
Saturday we had a little picnic.
We did have a picnic. We took Mabel on
to the farmer's market.
To the farm, like it was probably like a total. We probably did close to 2 miles, and
oh yeah,
she got her steps in. And she
slept through the night.
Yeah, she was tired, so it was cool. And then it was nice that we got to. You got your picnic basket that you've been asking for what? What'd you say? Like 3 years?
It's been on my Christmas list for like 3 years. We started doing like picnics because lots of areas around here have like concerts in the park during the summer. So like every Thursday or Friday there's like concerts, and we never really care too much about like what genre it is. It's just nice to like be out and there's like live music and bring food and have some drinks and stuff. So ever since then I'm like, I want to be like on top of my picnic game because some people have like the nicest setups. And that's what I strive for now. I'm like, I want to have like a cute, like good picnic.
And you do. I mean, you have it's a very traditional looking picnic basket. Like it's the woven kind of looking.
I felt funny packing it up. I'm like, oh my gosh, made my little picnic basket. But it did something to me. I'm like, this is good.
It looks good. And, you know, it comes with like silverware. Like when you open it up, it comes up with silverware that you can put on the top.
Yeah.
Has little plates with almost like a belt buckle kind of thing to strap them in the bottom. There's cups like with little holsters in there, like
napkins.
You're locked and loaded. Good with the picnic basket. And then you have your little picnic what is that goes on the ground, like that little
like
mat.
Picnic blanket.
I mean, we're all set, but
I want a few more things. We got some chairs.
Which one?
I want like a little table. So when we take the chairs, we can do like a little table and stuff.
But you do see those. That's the next level, next step.
Some people have some like intense setups. Well, they'll bring like
it looks like it's from their damn living room. You know, I'm like, what?
You're
bringing your living room out to the grass? Okay, like extra, but yeah. I get it.
They'll do like the lights and they'll put like lanterns with all the candles. I'm like, I want that.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, it would be cool. I'm like, you living out here? Like you're staying more than like the concert?
It just looks really cute.
It does. But you have a good start. We had you made some amazing sandwiches. We got some obviously stuff to make the sandwiches right before. Made them. We got your little what was it? Diet or Coke Zeros?
Coke Zeros.
They're like the little mini cans. It's like it's like just the perfect amount. If you don't want to drink a full, like, what is it, 12-ounce soda, these are they're probably 6 ounces.
Yeah.
Little mini ones. So had our picnic.
Another nice day. It was like so nice. Now that it's getting like consistently warm again, it's just been so good. For like honestly everything, I feel so much better once it's warm out.
You can go for walks, runs, just be out. You can be outside more, which is I think what everyone needs. You know, because it's so inconsistent with the weather here. But
yeah,
that was Saturday,
and then today, literally
Sunday. Yeah,
Sunday. We just got back not too long ago from our friend Jimmy and Gabby's bridal shower, co-ed bridal shower. And that was today. So that was also really fun. And we've been looking forward to that too. And
we played some games. So, you know, I feel like everybody's at least done this once where you get, like, there's a jar of something. It could be candy. It can be, I don't know. Sometimes people do, like, marbles or something. And you got to guess the number.
Yeah.
Like, I know every time I've done it, I've gotten way too technical. I'm like, okay, maybe there's, like, 5 candies on the bottom portion of the jar, and if you just stack them up 5 each row, there's about 12 rows. There's 75 I think I put like 76, I guess.
Mine was so off. I think I did put 55, and it was like 140 something.
140. Yeah, 147.
Like, oh my gosh, my perception is like so off when it comes to these things.
Yeah, I think I don't know. It's tough to guess, and I don't know exactly how big it was. It was probably a little over a foot, and not too wide of a jar, but a whole bunch of like older candy. I would call it, like the older candy, and you know, we guessed that whoever won got a gift card.
There was like bingo, and we were all on these like bingo cards, and so the clues were like related to everyone who was in the wedding party, and also like just different facts about the bride and groom.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like you had to know the couple and like the people in the wedding group to be able to like answer and not answer, I guess, like
cross off.
Yeah, cross off on your bingo card. So that was fun. I always love stuff like that because I sometimes do want to know, like, how much do I know? Or I get competitive. I'm like, I wonder if I could.
I was so close to winning bingo the first time, and I was like one short off of like winning. And then we did fill the whole entire card, and I was still one off.
Yeah.
Before someone else had won. I think.
What was your clue?
Mine was works for the Bears, and like. Oh wait, like for like mine, yeah. So for Nick M, the clue. The clue was like works for the Bears, even though I technically don't work for the Bears. I cover the Bears.
Everyone always thinks that.
Yeah, they always think that. They always think I work for the Bears. I cover the Bears.
Yeah.
And then what was yours again? It was.
And mine was has a podcast with her boyfriend.
Oh yeah. So couples coverage. Yeah. There you go. But that was fun. It was a good way to incorporate everybody
Yeah.
on the bingo card. Learn a little bit about
Yeah,
everybody
learned a little
too.
bit too.
But I had a good more sandwiches. So we had sandwiches at our picnic. We had sandwiches again. No issue with that because I love sandwiches. And a bunch of desserts. Like I can't stay away from
chocolates.
like the mini. What is it? Fannie Mae chocolates. I think that's what. God, I kept eating those things, and that's a problem. But it was a fun time.
It was a very fun time, and again, another beautiful day, celebrating another couple.
Yeah.
And we have the separate bachelor and bachelorette parties coming up for that too. Ours is in June, and yours is in also June.
Yeah, I think ours is the first week of June 7th.
Okay.
And then and there goes Mabel. Goodbye, Mabel. Or are you gonna jump? What's up, little girl?
Oh. Not if you tell me to stay.
Okay, you can stay. We're getting close to the end here,
Yeah.
but yeah. So ours is the first week of June. I
He's
think
so
yours is like
cute.
3 or 4 weeks into June or something like that. And
Last week of June, I think.
last week. So we're going. The bachelor party's in New Orleans. I've been to New Orleans a couple times. One for a bachelor party, so that'll be fun. And then you're going to
I'm going to Charleston.
Charleston.
Yeah.
So that'll also be a good time.
Right? Charleston?
Yeah, you're going to Charleston. Where you always think I
always get messed up because I always want to say St. Charles. And
St.
St.
Charles,
Charles in Illinois.
that's right.
I'm not going there.
No.
And then, are you sure it's Charleston?
You're going to
South Carolina.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're not
I
going
don't
to
know
St.
why
Charles.
this one is like does not want to go through my brain. Like I just for some reason can never get right where I'm going.
Well, that's where you're going.
And
you
I booked it.
already booked your
I already
flight,
booked it,
so you're going there regardless.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are both going to be a fun time. And then
What if I book for the wrong place? No, you looked at it.
yes.
I'll be fine.
Yeah, you'll be fine. And then the actual wedding's going to be in Boston. So I'll have to look into getting that all squared away. But I'm looking forward to that too.
Yeah.
I'd visited Jimmy when he
Bye,
was
Maple.
in school
Bye, Maple.
in Worcester.
Is that really what it's called?
Worcester? The city.
Yeah.
Yep. Worcester. But yeah, look, it's going to be a fun time in Boston. We'll see, people are planning on going to a Red Sox game, rehearsal dinner, then wedding. So it's going to be a fun time.
Yeah, we'll have to get that figured out, but it's all on the list. It's all part of the summer, which is just getting started.
Exactly.
And I think that kind of does it for this episode, right?
Yeah,
That's kind of literally caught up to speed because we just got back from there. So.
Yeah, we just need to catch you up on this past weekend and a little bit before that with the Indiana Fever game on last Thursday. But we appreciate everyone for listening and watching Couples Coverage. Go subscribe on YouTube. We're so close to 100 subscribers. And then also, if you're someone who listens to the podcast, you can listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Give us a like on there, subscribe on there, follow us on our social media with Instagram and TikTok. But we'll be back for another episode with who knows what will happen from now until the next episode. I know there's going to be a softball game eventually that we'll have to talk about, but it's been fun.
Let me get Mabel because she wants to say bye.
Come here, Mabel. And bye from Mabel. Bye from my beautiful, amazing co-host, Stephanie. We will see you next time. Adios.
Bye.